Just imagine, and for many of us it isn't very difficult to imagine, that the world is so heavily polluted that we could no longer live on it. And yet we've got enough spaceships for all the 6.5 billion people that live on planet Earth to go and explore, looking for a new planet to settle on. So after 7 days flying through the heavens, we're lucky we find a new planet on which we can settle. And this planet is just as beautiful as planet Earth. And it has all the attributes of planet Earth. And our spaceships land on one of the beaches of one of the continents. And with the permission of the President of the United States, the General Secretary of the United Nations is allowed to address the 6.5 billion people from planet Earth now assembled on the beach. And each one of us would have, perhaps in our own mind's eye, what would be said on that momentous occasion. And my take is that he would say, well, we've been travelling for 7 days, we've settled, we found this new planet, and people are hungry, so we've got to get moving quick to feed people. People are homeless, and so we've got to build homes for people to live in, and people need jobs. And that means we've got to get the economy moving. So I'm going to ask all of you who on planet Earth were oil barons or rich oil sheikhs to actually explore this new planet and find where all those sites are that oil is deposited. And I want you to ring fence those sites. And then as we come to use oil for our economy, we can buy the oil from you. And our children can buy the oil from your children as long as it continues to flow. And secondly, I want De Beers and all the big mining companies to explore this new planet and find where all the coal, the nickel, the gold, the diamonds are buried and ring fence those sites. And then as we come to use those minerals in our production, we can buy them from you. And our grandchildren can buy them from your grandchildren as long as those deposits last. Finally, I want all of you who were landowners on planet Earth, people like the Duke of Westminster, to explore this planet and look for all those sites where people are going to want to settle to build their homes. Perhaps sites overlooking lakes and even sites overlooking oceans. Look for places where villages are going to grow, where towns are going to grow, where cities are going to grow. And I want you to ring fence all that land by building walls, literally building walls and fences around those sites. And in addition, search for all the most fertile land on this new planet and do the same there, build walls and fences. Then, as we step off this beach and we step onto your land, we can pay you rent. And our children can pay your children, our grandchildren, your grandchildren, and our great-great-great-grandchildren, your great-great-great-grandchildren, ad infinitum. But of course, as in all such silly stories, there's an awkward little boy at the back of the crowd who shouts out to the General Secretary of the UN and says, "Hey, mister, but what about my share?" And just think about it on planet Earth today. What about his share today? On our planet, fewer than 10% of the world's population own and control all our land and natural resources. I believe that is a fundamental injustice. And should we be surprised that we run the world's economy with such a basic injustice that when the little boy grows up, he reaches for the crowbar and becomes a thief, or he reaches for the Semtex and the Armalite rifle and becomes a terrorist? Because if you're going to have a society, an economy based on injustice, then you have to expect the consequences.